Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Nikhil Kumar. Today I am sharing something very important, the DevOps Roadmap for 2026. But before we start, let me tell you something honestly. DevOps are changing fast, tools are changing, APIs are being depreciated, and AI is entering in every part of automation. And here's the truth that no one's tell you. If you focus only on tools, you will always struggle. But if you understand the core concept, you can understand or you can learn any tool today or tomorrow. So in this video, I will give you the right DevOps roadmap for 2026, where we will understand the core concepts first and the tools later. So let's get started. Let me start with a very simple example. For many years, we all learn Ingress in Nginx. Every tutorial, every company, everyone uses it. But suddenly Kubernetes announced to depreciate it. Then the Ingress slowly being replaced, companies are migrating, and YAML looks completely different. Now imagine if you learn only the Ingress tool. Tomorrow everything changes and you need to start it again. But if you learn the core concept, like how the routing works, how layer 7 works, how Kubernetes exposes the services, then switching to Gateway API only takes 5 minutes. And this is why I always try to learn and teach the concept then tool. And this roadmap follows that.
So now let's start the roadmap. We begin with the core foundation, the things every DevOps engineer must know. Think of them like the ABCD of the DevOps. These are your pillars. Linux is the foundation for running containers. Git is your version control system for collaboration. Networking connects system and the services. Then we have a script which automates tasks and the processes. Then we have a YAML and the JSON which will be used to data formats for configuration. And at last we have a configuration management that ensures system consistency and the scalability. And trust me, you will use these skills every single day. You don't need to master them before moving ahead, but you need to understand them. So let's start with the most important one, that is Linux. Linux is everywhere in DevOps. Your containers runs on Linux, Kubernetes nodes, Linux, your cloud VM, that is also Linux, and even all your logs, processes and networking are on Linux. So when you understand a little bit of Linux, suddenly Kubernetes becomes clear, Docker becomes easier and debugging becomes faster. But don't worry, you don't need to learn all of Linux. You only need the Linux that DevOps and Kubernetes use. You should be aware about the file system, processes and the systemd services, permissions, networking basics, bash, namespaces and the C group. And right after this, I am coming with the Linux for DevOps Engineers playlist, where we will learn everything step by step. So once Linux is clear, we learn how to track our work. For that we have a Git. Git is like the memory of your project. Every change you make, Git remembers it. Every mistake you make, Git helps you to undo it. Every new feature release, Git tracks it. In DevOps, almost everything begins with Git. So let's take an example for this. A developer writes a code and creates a branch. When they are ready, they open a pull request so the team can review the changes. And once everything looks good, the code gets merged into the main branch. And that merge automatically triggers a pipeline that build, test and deploy. So if you understand branching and the pull requests, CI/CD become easy. And to automate things, we need scripting. Now let's talk about something many beginners worry about, that is coding. Don't worry, we are not doing software development here. But every DevOps engineer needs a bit of coding, just enough to automate tasks and work smarter. For DevOps, you only need a few things. First is Bash for your daily automation task. Then Python, it's used for scripting and the automation tasks and interacting with the APIs. Then we have a YAML and the JSON. Basically DevOps speaks this language. Then we have a REST basics because everything is API driven. And if you want to interact with the web services, this is the must-known skill. And at last, Regex. It is used to clean huge logs in the seconds. These small skills save hours and make you much more confident. And once scripting feels comfortable, we step into the heart of modern DevOps. That is containers. Containers solve one simple problem. It works on my machine, but not on yours. With containers, your application runs the same everywhere, whether it's your laptop, server or cloud, because everything it needs travel inside a small packaged box. They gives us consistency, speed and isolation. And to work with container, you don't need to learn everything at once. Just understand these 5 basics and you are already ahead of 90% of beginners. The fundamentals: you must know what is an image, how image layers work, how a Dockerfile builds an image, how containers runs from images, and how they move through a registry. Master these 5 and container will feel simple. You will be able to build apps, run them locally, push to a registry, and deploy anywhere confidently. Because if containers are the boxes that hold applications, then Kubernetes is the factory that manages thousands of those boxes automatically. Kubernetes sounds scary at first, but if you understand containers, Kubernetes is just a system that runs them reliably. You only need to understand the main building blocks. Pods, which is the smallest deployable units in Kubernetes. Then we have a deployment, which helps to manage and scale the application. Then replica set, which ensure the desired number of pod replicas. Then we have a services, which enable communication between the services or the components. Then config map and the secrets, which store sensitive or the non-sensitive configuration data. These are Lego pieces. Once concepts are clear, tools like kubectl, Helm, Ergo CD become easy. Now that your apps runs on Kubernetes, let's automate the pipeline. CI/CD exists to remove manual work and reduce errors. It's used for the continuous integration, continuous delivery, and the continuous deployment. So once you understand the concept, tools like GitHub Actions and the GitLab CI feel natural.
Next comes the infrastructure as code. IAC lets you treat your infrastructure like software. You write code and your cloud resources appear. No clicking buttons in the console, no manual VM creation. Everything is documented and repeatable. Concept you must know is idempotency. Run it 10 times and get the same result. Then the state file, the truth of your infrastructure. Then we have a desired state. That means we need to declare what we want, not how. At last, we have a reusable modules. It's standardized and self-contained code blocks designed for reuse to promote consistency and manage complexity. And Terraform is still the leader here. Next, we have a configuration management that is often skipped but very important. After infrastructure is created, you need to configure the machines. That's where the configuration management comes in. This ensures all your servers are consistent, secure, and automated. For that, you need to learn the concepts like playbooks, inventories, handlers, desired state, and idempotency. And here, the Ansible is the must-learn tool. With one YAML file, you can configure 100 servers exactly the same way. That's the power of configuration management. Now, let's go to cloud. You don't need to learn all the clouds, just pick one and learn the basics. You should learn about compute, networking, IAM, storage, and the load balancer. Now with your apps running, you must make them observable. Once your apps runs, you need to see what's happening. Here, the metrics shows health, logs show behavior, and traces shows the flow. And we have a different tools for that, like Prometheus, Grafana, and Loki. These are the core tools for monitoring and the observability. And all this must be secure. So that's why we have a DevSecOps. Because security becomes an essential part of DevOps. It can be used for scanning images, scanning IAC code, protect secrets, and enforce securities. And here we have a different tools like Trevi, Sneak, and Kyverno will be everywhere. And now the biggest shift is AI. AI will not replace DevOps engineers, but DevOps engineers using AI will replace those who don't. AI can review code, fix pipelines, generate YAML, analyze logs, create Terraform codes, and help you debug. So with AI, your job becomes faster, not replaced.
Let's summarize everything. So we need to start with the foundation, that is Linux, Git, networking, and the scripting. If you get these right, everything later becomes easy. Then we need to jump into containers, where we need to learn about building images, understand layers, write Dockerfile, and push it to the registries. Now you are ready for the real deployments. Then we need to jump into the Kubernetes, where we need to learn about deploying applications, how to scale them, how we can manage services, and we need to master the gateway API so that we can expose our application to the outside world. After you can run your apps, automate the delivery with the CI/CD pipelines. Now we move deeper with the IAC and the configuration management for repeatable and the version controlled infra. Then the cloud, where we need to learn about compute, storage, IAM, and networking. This is where the real system live. Then we need to add the monitoring and the observability with the help of metrics, logs and the tracing, because you can't fix what you can't see. And then add DevSecOps, because we need to build security in from day one, not after things break. And finally, AI plus DevOps, using code scanning, policy automation, self-healing system. This is where the future is heading. So that's the journey. It's clear, progressive and not overwhelming. Skill by skill and the step by step. And every step makes the next one very easier.
And this is the DevOps roadmap for 2026. Concept focused, practical and future proof. Now before you jump into the Kubernetes, CI/CD and any cloud, you need one strong foundation, that is Linux. So the next thing coming on this channel is Linux for DevOps Engineer, a complete beginner friendly playlist, and Linux and container internals, where we literally go deep dive and create a small container from scratch. So these two playlists will help you to build a strong foundation for DevOps. If you found this helpful, hit like, share it with your friends and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.